Oh, it's really great to see everybody. I'm glad you can all be here today. Thank you to Carl and Suzanne again for inviting me to be with you. And as they mentioned, I teach something called heart rhythm meditation, which is, for those of you who weren't here last week, is a very embodied form of meditation where we actually connect our breath with our heart and technically it's our heartbeat, but it's also energetically our magnetic heart. And so by connecting our breath and our heart really deeply, it takes us inwards, brings us into this really nice balanced state where we can then experience through our senses in a much deeper way. And that's why it's such a beautiful pairing with music. I was really grateful that they asked to pair the meditation with music. And I'll be leading us through just a brief meditation to kind of connect us. So if you've not meditated before, that's perfectly fine. It's not complicated. I'll talk us through it. So it's mostly just about listening and breathing and being present. So I'll lead us through all of that. And what will hopefully happen for everyone is it will take us into this kind of deep, calm inner space where we can then experience music perhaps a little differently than we have before. We experience music and meditation as something that's kind of happening within us as opposed to something that's external. We'll be breathing really deeply and fully and rhythmically. And so our breath actually becomes a part of the whole experience. And I invite you all when we get to the point where we're listening to the music, just to really breathe the music in and follow it with curiosity, perhaps connect with the emotions, and see where our emotions take us with music. It's all about this energetic flow and vibration that happens when we are meditating and listening to music. And it can be just a really beautiful experience. So that's my hope today, is to take us all into that place. We're going to be listening to a beautiful piece from Thaïs, the opera by Jules Massenet. And it's very appropriately called Meditation. So I love that they chose that piece. So if no one has any questions before we get going, I'm happy to answer a question or two if there are any before we start. All right, looks like everybody's in a good spot then. So I'll just invite you to get comfortable, in a seated position. And we can start by gently closing our eyes. And if for some reason you prefer not to close your eyes, that's perfectly fine. Typically when we're meditating, we just at least want to soften our gaze. And that helps us to begin to go inwards a little bit more and kind of pull away from our outer environment. We still want to be really present to our bodies in the space that we're in, but we're going to be exploring this inner still space that lives within each of us. So we begin just by closing our eyes or softening our gaze. And then we're going to feel our feet on the floor, kind of firmly rooted in the earth. Just makes us present to this beautiful planet that we all share, this place we call home, a place that holds us and supports us and nurtures us. And it's also this place where this natural rhythm exists. And sometimes in our busy lives, we get caught up in all of the extraneous activity and we kind of lose touch, perhaps, with this natural rhythm. We can feel it when we're in nature. Nature is always attuned to this rhythm naturally. So meditation helps us connect with that rhythm, that quiet, slower pace of the natural world. And so we feel our feet firmly rooted in the earth. And we want to feel our crowns, the crowns of our heads, open to the sky, open to the heavens. This kind of place of all possibility, this connection from the unseen to the seen. You know, when we think about music, music is created from this place. It comes into existence through the composer. It's drawn from this unseen place into this realm where we can experience it through our senses. So next, we're just going to begin to pay attention to our breath. Just bringing our consciousness to our breath. However we're breathing today, we always do this without any judgment at all. It's just noticing. You might notice that our exhale is longer than our inhale, or vice versa. You can begin to notice how on the breath, this life force and rhythm flows. So as we inhale, we just notice that. Every inhale fills us with new life. And when we connect with our breath consciously, we can begin to actually change our breath. This helps with connection to this rhythm that we've been talking about. So what we want to do is with our next exhale, just gently and slowly breathe out fully and deeply, just as deeply as is comfortable for you. And then at the end of the exhale, we begin the inhale. And what happens is when we exhale fully first, we create more space for the incoming breath on the inhale. We can breathe much more deeply than we normally do when we're not paying attention to our breath. You know, we always breathe, which is good. But we really typically breathe in a very shallow fashion. So increasing the breath flow really increases our energy, increases our life force. So again, just breathing out fully and completely on the exhale, perhaps even squeezing our bellies gently at the end of the exhale to press all the air from our lungs. And we allow the belly to relax as we draw the breath back in. Just allowing our lungs to fill completely. This beautiful breath, beautiful life that flows on the breath. We're going to begin to just envision, we'll use our imagination, that as we're breathing, the breath is moving in and out of our hearts, so kind of the center of our chest. So as we inhale, we envision the breath coming into our heart center. As we exhale, we envision it moving from our heart center outwards. And again, just breathing really deeply and fully and slowly. It's very gentle. As we breathe from our hearts in this way, we begin to create this rhythmic flow of breath. This place where our exhale and our inhale are the same length. We may even be aware of our heartbeat or our pulse. And just allow our breath to connect with this natural rhythm, fully exhaling, fully inhaling deeply and completely. With each inhale, we go inwards more deeply into our hearts. In this still place, if there are thoughts that arise, we just let them float by, not attaching. Just keeping our focus on our breath, our heart. This rhythm that begins to flow through us. It's almost like waves in the ocean. As we inhale, we can envision the waves coming into the shore. As we exhale, we see the waves moving back out into the sea. So when we find this place of inner stillness, we can begin to listen in a different way. So in a few moments, when we begin to listen to this beautiful piece of music, I invite you to breathe it in, breathe it into your heart. Allow it to flow through you and around you, following the melody, the vibration, allowing whatever emotion rises to come. Just experiencing the music as a part of yourself. Continuing to breathe fully and deeply. And Carl, if you would be so kind as to begin this beautiful piece for us. So we continue to breathe deeply, fully, just allowing the resonance, the vibration of that music to move through our entire body, flowing through us and around us. Music becomes a part of us. So we'll take a few more nice deep breaths, just relishing the gift of music in this beautiful piece. And whenever you feel comfortable, just gently open your eyes. It can be really incredible how a piece of music stays with us. We absorb that vibration